So yesterday I mentioned about regarding on the secondary, not a secondary, again, second type of um, characteristic, and also slowly looking into the third type of characteristic of an object. To repeat again, all these objects, whatever that you pay attention, there are three different levels of characteristics. The first one is this individual characteristic. Second is this triple characteristic. And the third one is this um, universal characteristics, right? Although the name is sound as universal or triple, but experiential wise, when we begin this vipassana meditation, most of the time you will see the first characteristic of the individual characteristic. You'll notice more of this hard, soft, rising, falling, thoughts, thinking, sleepiness. You begin to see their characteristic, you see their nature, their difference from one to another. And that is good that you can notice them. Now, in order for us to notice them, we also have to notice on them thoroughly, carefully, clearly, moment after moment, to notice continuously. With that, day after day, the practice starts to develop, starts to progress. Later on, as you progress, then the second characteristic becomes more prominent, more clearer, in the sense that you begin to see, you also see the first characteristic, but now you see the characteristic as undergoing beginning, middle, or ending. As I said, not all the time it shows you the beginning, middle, or ending. Sometimes it shows you the beginning, sometimes it shows you the middle, sometimes it shows you the ending. Sometimes it shows you in all of them. Not only that, they'll show you in a different speed. Sometimes it can go faster. It changes faster, clearer, and sometimes it slows down. Sometimes as if like multiple objects are coming in, noticing. Here before you finish, the other one already arising. And it stays there just for maybe a few seconds, then another next object and the next object. So as if like we are able to notice all at one go. Yeah. In the beginning practice, when we begin to meditate, you cannot force your mind wanting to see what you want. Just because you learn something, just because you learn the Dhamma, you know the theory of a little bit on this vipassana, just because you know the theory on these objects. But then you cannot just sit down and then you force the mind, I want to see the beginning, middle, and ending. You're going to stress out yourself. You're going to, if you do like that repeatedly, you're going to end up with a lot of stress, a lot of tension. Not any tension, but it becomes migraine. This vipassana, another area where yogis pull out from vipassana practice. As I said the other day, one of the difficult one is because the pain. Over time, you cannot handle the pain, you cannot handle the various suffering, then you're going to pull out from this meditation. This is one thing. Second thing that I did not mention is the hindrances. One of the hindrances, for example, just too much thinking, or too much drowsiness, or too much skeptical doubt. or too much desire, or too much anger, or whatever your nature, and you cannot control that hindrances. So strong, day after day is so strong. It cannot settle down. So with that too, you lose your momentum. You lose your confidence. You lose your confidence in the sense that if you having go through thinking after thinking, retreat after retreat, what do you think the next retreat? You begin to doubt, should I go or should I not go? This is one of the things. The other one, yogis pull out, is because they cannot able to balance the mind. Mentally, they cannot able to balance them. For many reasons why the whole mind cannot balance. When we use the word balance here, the meaning of the word balance in Vipassana, it's not your walking balance or not balance, Not your walking is perfect or wobbling. That is not the balance we are talking about. The balance we are talking about is in the noting mind. In the noting mind. Now, to understand a little bit on this noting mind, we look at the mind that is paying attention. There are several components inside there just to do the job of a single noting. Let's say the single noting is just 1 second. Yeah? Within that second, there's a number of things inside there, a number of ingredients inside there. Not just mindfulness alone. Not just only your attention alone. There are so many things are inside here. Yeah? Just for you to do the noting on the object. So as long as this noting mind, they are in a state of balance, that means you're able to notice your objects clearly. You notice your object rising, falling, sitting, touching, and so on. So, the balancing of this mind, you need condition for it to be balanced. If you don't satisfy the condition, then it can go imbalance. It can go stressful. When it becomes stressful or become imbalanced, your noticing becomes not clear anymore. For example, one of the things that it become imbalanced is that you over-exert your practice. You over-exert your noting. You put too much energy without you knowing it, without you realizing it. You're trying to meditate, you're trying to observe your object, but you kind of stress the mind and you try to exert strongly onto the object. You press on it, you for example, like object is very small. You don't want to give up on that particular object. You want to stress the mind onto it. So that when the mind stress onto it, after some time, this noting mind becomes imbalanced. This condition become imbalanced. That means something has become excessive. You do it in that way. After some time, you find that the mind goes into agitation, thinking, wondering, how come earlier on my walking, everything was very clear, smooth. But then, after 10 or 15 minutes later, the whole mind goes into such agitation, agitated mind. So much thinking. Now here is that while you are noting, you don't realize that you are over-exerting during that time. Then it goes into that. Or another way is that the noting mind, you notice an object again. But then this type mind, for some yogis, they tend to over-focus on the object. They try to grip on the object. They don't care about other things. They just want to hold onto the object and grip the object. After a while, you grip it and it becomes stronger and stronger. It begins to tighten. Then it creates another form of stress. Another form of stress sometimes is just like the object is not clear. The mind is not wandering. But the mind is just quiet, nothing, and stressful. Tight. Like a tension is building up. And this imbalance is not just imbalance in the mind only. It will also condition the body too. And it condition the body to make the body very stressful. Forehead, neck, shoulders, everything. It's very hands up nature. Some yogis, they come to the meditation retreat, they overexert. For example, I tell you that during in the walking meditation, start off with one phase first. Start off with one phase, then you slowly go into third phase. But some yogis don't listen. Straight away, every sitting, every walking, they're lifting, pushing, dropping. From first day, then they can do for the second day, third day. By the time you come fifth day, sixth day, they puncture. Burn out. Completely burn out because the whole body is so stressful. The mind is unable, cannot sleep, cannot meditate, everything cannot do. It's just so stressed out. Once in a while we see this yogi in that way. Then when the stress comes in, so tense up, they very difficult for them to undo. They do not know what to do. They keep doing the same thing that they are doing. Keep going. Now they are hitting the wall. Then they're not able to progress, and yet they still stress out until end up with all kinds of migraine. And I've seen yogis finish retreat, see the doctor first thing to get some more stronger than your Tylenol already. You need more powerful than that already. and there are yogis like that. Many times I've seen monks, I've seen nuns, I've seen lay yogis, end up with this kind of tension. Sometimes in a certain vipassana centers, you quite a lot of yogis go into that tension and you go into that stressful situation. Because the lifting, pushing, dropping, although it gives you a lot of good results, you overdo, you overcook it, then it's going to burn out. You're going to go burn out. You must learn how to relax. In order to relax the body, it also relax a bit on the mind, not so tense up. Then you can last day after day. You see, some of you can still last here. That some yogis cannot even last like 5 or 6 days. So stressful, so tense up. So the mind goes into imbalance and they do not know how to undo the whole thing. I mean, if you want to talk about this subject, you got to stay for another 5 days or 1 week just to talk about it. Because it's a subject on its own, to able to balance. This is not just like how to do the walking, how to do the rising and falling. This is more like for yogis who are more experienced into the meditation, and they need to fine-tune the practice. They need to fine-tune the state of mind. So it's like it's like cooking. You kind of like over time, you know how much ingredient for you to put there. In order to get it right, you have to know how to control your fire, how much supposed to simmer or to close to. You know that. In meditation, also something similar like this. You cannot overdo something. You cannot underdo something. You have to keep it to the optimal state, and that comes with experience. It comes with experience. And the mindfulness is always very helpful to able to aware that something is going out of balance, something is going excessive. The mindfulness is the one that detect what is going on with the mind too. So the mindfulness has a crucial part here. The Buddha says that this mindfulness, the more, the better. Like the vitamin M, the more, the better. So, this is the more, the better. It cannot be excessive. The only thing that only other things can go excessive. Your energy can go excessive. Concentration can go excessive. Your being thorough also can sometimes go excessive, and it can condition for the mind to become over exertion. So a lot of things can go too much or too little, but not mindfulness. Mindfulness is always not enough. In other words, you have to keep on being aware, keep on being present, to be alert. Then it will be very helpful. Yeah? Now, so to like come back to the topic again on, as I said, this characteristic, the second characteristic, when you are not ready for it, you don't go and purposely go and look for it, because when it's not there, you stress the mind to be there, and then the whole mind can go out of balance or imbalance, and then become very stressful. As I said, there are some Vipassana meditation centers. They teach yogis on the rising and falling. Initial development of rising and falling is to force the yogi, even new yogis, to see exactly how it starts, how in the middle, exactly how it ends. You force a new yogi to do that. The yogi is not even able to take up rising and falling yet. And then now you want to force the yogi exactly see that. And these yogis, sometimes a lot of them actually unable to see how it begins. Then when they go to report, they feel very, oh, I'm not doing it right. No, I cannot see the beginning yet. The teacher says must see the beginning. I cannot see the ending. I can see somewhere it's moving there. Even if you can see somewhere it's moving, it's actually quite good. A lot of beginners yogi can't even see anything at all. So before you can able to notice anything, the instruction is coming in the beginning, middle, and ending. That I find it that is so stressful for the yogis. So my instruction for beginners, I never use the word beginning, middle, and ending until you have some degree of practice, some degree of development. Then we slowly introduce to you about beginning, middle, and ending. Yeah? So as I mentioned again, not all the time you're going to see beginning, middle, or ending. If you don't see that, don't lose hope. Sometimes the mind has to revert back to just the individual characteristic. Your job as a yogi is to make sure that the mind is alert, the mind is clear, and let the object present to you in whichever way it want to present to you. Yeah. Don't think of it as how come I don't see beginning, middle, and ending. Don't worry about that. Just see what is being presented there. If you do like that, if you do in this way, your mind is not stressful. Your mind doesn't expect something to happen or wishing something to happen. That wishing cannot fulfill. If your wish cannot fulfill, your desire cannot fulfill, then a lot of stress will start coming in. So, we keep on noticing. Yeah? So yesterday also I mentioned about towards the end, we're looking into the third characteristic already now. The third characteristic here is the universal characteristic. Universal characteristic here again, every object has arising and passing away. The moment it arises, the moment it passes away, moment after moment. Yeah? So during this time when when your mind when the vipassana has progressed to a certain level, then this arising and passing away becomes a prominent feature to the yogis. You don't even know whether you are noticing the mind or the body, or whether you are noticing the rising, falling, or sensation. And that time, it does not matter anymore. All the names, all the labeling, all the concept is all disappeared, because everything is just arising and passing away. And this arising and passing away, again, they have their own patterns, they have their own speed, they have their own way of presenting it to you. Sometimes it may present to you as just one area it arises and passes away. Sometimes it may arise and passes away in different areas, as if like it's keep on running the whole body. And everything that you pay attention to it, as long as the attention is there, it shows you the arising and passing away. So it can be whole body running here and there. So it's very busy inside there sometimes. You lost track of time. You lost track of time, you lost track of something, what is happening outside also. Whether it's whoever is just beside you, you don't even realize what is going on. You're only fully attentive on this arising and passing away, whatever is happening. Yeah? It's kind of like an absorption, you know. The mind kind of absorbed, but now it's able to notice all these phenomena. As if, don't start thinking it is kind of like a samatha jhana. It's different, but it's kind of an absorption also. Yeah? We see that in many ways, in many patterns, it shows you to you in many patterns. Then you begin to see, as I said, the real anicca. When the real anicca, you will begin to see this arising and passing away. And when you observe this, the background, the behind, is that it begin to remove the wrong perception or the wrong idea of nicha or permanency. It begin to show you all the whatever that is impermanent in front there, but behind it, it removes the wrong idea of permanency. So that as you go forward, you go develop further. Now you develop further, you keep on going, walking, sitting, just like what you do. It's going to go into deeper level in the sense that you see this arising and passing away too. Again and again and again and again, this arising and passing away. And you begin to see also the destruction of things are going into, as if like every object that you notice, they go into destruction and go into dissolution. Notice that, and then over time, your mind becomes very difficult. That the things that you used to be able to pay attention to comfortably, touching, rising, falling, and so on, this time as if like everything goes into destruction, goes into like fading away, falling away, as if like it's going to go into disappearing. And you keep on noticing how come this object is going in this way. Then it creates kind of like a concern or fear or some, as if like you are not doing it right, as if like there's nothing for you to hold on to. You used to be able to hold on to all your objects to give you that clarity, but now that thing is keep on breaking. So sometimes the yogi become fearful and they feel that something is not right. This is exactly the experience of dukkha is coming in. Yeah? The experience of dukkha. Now, this dukkha here, as I mentioned yesterday, did I mention yesterday or day before? As I said, the dukkha is not all the every feelings of pain everywhere. Yeah? This is one area of dukkha. The second area of dukkha is that you see this dukkha is due to change. Dukkha that arises due to change. Due to change, that means that when you begin to see things are changing, phenomena are changing, then it creates that kind of unsatisfactoriness to you. Then it becomes a level of dukkha. You see these things keep on running around, going away, everywhere. It's not very satisfactory thing. Very uncomfortable, very, just feel difficult. That is an expression of dukkha. It's not something wrong with your practice, but because you never experienced this before, you may think that there's something wrong with your own practice. You don't realize that it's actually it's a dukkha is coming to present it to you. You're still alert, you're still clear, you can still notice a lot of things. It's just that it's so difficult, so unsatisfactory. Yeah? And you keep on noticing those things further. Yeah? Sometimes this deeper level of dukkha comes in as the third type of dukkha. The third type of dukkha here is the dukkha due to formations. Dukkha due to sankhara or sankhata dukkha. Formations here. Due to formations here means that due to conditioning. Anything that this body and body process and mental process, sometimes we just summarize it as sankhara, as a process, a formation. Because bodily has got its own formation, mind has got own formation, has got its own process, body got its own bodily process. Everything that you notice, like rising and falling, sitting, touching, pain, thinking, anger, all these are formations. All these are not fabrication, form, because they are being formed due to condition is there. Conditions are met, they arises. Even though our rising and falling, we need conditions too. Now, when you go deeper into this practice, you see this arising and passing away so much that every time you notice this arising, anything that is just arising, you already feel dukkha, you feel very dissatisfied, you feel very disenchanted or disgust, like what yesterday I used. Anything that is keep on arising and passing away, because the more that you pay attention to them, the more they show you, the more they unfold its truth to let you see. And when you notice it, it's really really unsatisfactory. Sometimes yogi feel like they want to vomit while sitting. Nauseatic feeling arises. They feel that it's so difficult, and yet they can still meditate. All kinds of difficulty coming in as things that you have not experienced it before. So the dukkha is not just your bum dukkha, your knee dukkha, your neck dukkha. There are more dukkha than what you think there is, Not here, pain, there, pain. Oh, I see all the dukkha in the world. Oh, I see every dukkha. Wait, just wait. So there are a lot more. for you to notice. Again here, noticing this dukkha. As I said, these are difficult part of the development. If you are not strong enough, if your faith towards the teachings of the Buddha is not strong enough, you are not going to pass through. Because it's not the teacher, it's not the Buddha anymore. It's your own noticing that you're going to see this dukkha one way or another. So it sees that how strong you are, how confident you are in the whole teaching. This one. I mean, this type of dukkha again. Once in a while, yogis also will roll up the carpet. In other words, they can't take it anymore. Go back. So difficult, and so one of the things is that it's difficult for yogis to bear because there's no happiness there. There's no pleasantness at all. The pleasantness that you noticed earlier on, even you notice it during that time, it goes into dukkha. You see the change and then it ends up with dukkha. You see rising, falling, you thought that you see rising, falling, you come back, you feel that you can have a break. The moment you pay attention, the dukkha all come up. You walk. You think that they're walking, for example, lifting, pushing, dropping. No pain, nothing, isn't it? Quite clear, quite neutral, right? But this time, no. Every time you touch down as if like something got pin poking on you. Just even the sensation that you feel right now is perfectly okay, no problem, nothing. But when you come to a certain time at that level, some yogis even feel like, you could still walk normally, but the mind is just so unhappy with the walking, unhappy with the sensation. You still could able to note. So the expression of dukkha, it comes in many ways. Sometimes even like eating also. Even in the eating becomes like such a ritual and a chore. Like every day eat, 6:30 eat, 11:30 eat, tomorrow repeat again. 6:30 eat, 11:30 eat, and repeat again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. So the dukkha is so strong, even during that time. But you got to bear it through. You got to be strong enough, you got to have that faith to really push it through. Now with that, in so many levels of you see this dukkha, again here is to clear your wrong idea of sukha, the wrong idea of bliss or happiness. Then you remove this, you begin to able to clear all these things slowly in the background, then it will help you to go further. You have to keep it going further until it comes to a time, because you see this dukkha in all this process of mind and body process, until you become like truly you want to get out of this dukkha. Only then you truly want to get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. Right now, a lot of you, you pray to the Buddha, you pray to the Bodhisattva, you pray to Kuan Yin, you pray to everything. I want to go out from this cycle of birth and rebirth. I want to go out. I want to free from all this suffering. But then you go back, you forget, everybody happy, happy to eat, happy to live, happy. Then you come to a temple again. I want to be free from all this dukkha. And then you go back, you do the same thing that is going to create all kinds of karma and it keep you in cycle of birth and rebirth. Your wish is not truly understood because there's no contrast yet. You come with an understanding of learning the Dhamma. Yes, this is something good, wonderful. But you haven't seen the aspect of dukkha in different level yet. Until you see this dukkha in different level and it matures with that, then only the mind have that genuine wish to fully liberate oneself from this cycle of birth and rebirth. Until that level come in. Right now, even though you have it, it is good, not to say that it's not good. But the level that you have, it still can be very easily affected by the worldly pleasures. And so on. Maybe now, sometimes some of you says that, oh, I want to get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. And then you die. You end up in the Deva world. So happy. Get out of samsara. What for? So happy right now. So joyful. The life is so long. You don't have to work. You don't have to be like a human. Eat and go to the toilet, have to sleep. In the Deva world, it's all enjoyment. So that time, you are so happy to get out of samsara. You want to get out of samsara. But then you die, you end up with a very young body, new body, everything. This one again, samsara, no need. Later on. You don't really want to get out from it. Because the true wish is not that strong, it's not that powerful yet. Until you experience the dukkha in a more deeper level, in many ways, then that genuine wish to be liberated from this suffering, from this dukkha become real. Then you will see how far can you go. Okay? Now, with that is only a wish, the mind desire for that liberation, a genuine wish to truly want to liberate oneself. But one is not liberated yet. One have to go further into the training and walk, sit, and keep noting and noting and noting. And again here, it's going to show you all kinds of like arising and passing away. It's going to show you this arising and passing away repeatedly, non-stop. Then you only will realize slowly that the arising and passing away is the actual samsara itself. Not this body, not this mind, but anything that is going into arising and passing away, then it is a samsara. It will not stop. From all this samsara, from life after life, we only look from one. Okay, you become a human, you become an animal, you become a deva, you become this and that. Underlying all of it, or whether you are devas, or whether you are a animal, or whether you are a human, internally it's just only arising and passing away. And everything is just arising and passing. The devas also have all these things as arising and passing away. The animal also have this arising and passing away only, moment after moment. The process of this body as it goes on is just arising and passing away. And it will not stop. The moment you die here, the arising and passing away connected arises somewhere else already. You are already taken rebirth already. In whatever, you can call it whatever sense, but arising and passing away is already there. So you're still in samsara and it cannot stop. You wish, I don't want the arising and passing away. I don't want. Cannot. Because you don't have the capacity yet. No. So one has to come back to able to notice the object, to notice this arising and passing away again and again, until you come to a level there where your equanimity, it becomes very powerful. Equanimity, they call it this stage, is equanimity towards all formations. That means towards all the mind or bodily process, whether it's painful, pleasant, joyful, sad, sorrow, anger, jealousy, happiness, whatever it is. the mind is truly equanimous. Equanimous, not just only equanimous, but is fully alert. 100% is really alert during this time. Yeah. Now, when it comes to this equanimity, you see, as I said, when your mind is in a state of balance, that you can able to notice something, to keep things in balance, so that everything don't go excessive or or too little or too much. Is this equanimity is the one it's holding the fort, The mindfulness is the one that if this fort start to shake too much, the mindfulness knows it is a bit too much already. The mindfulness aware because this thing is happening in the present moment. But in order to hold it together is this equanimity. And now with the development, this equanimity becomes so powerful that you cannot go into like excessive or less or more. The whole mind can be fully alert, fully balanced, and it can last for whole day. This time, you start off with immediately with lifting, pushing, dropping, and so on. It will not go into stressful situation, not like before. This time the mind is able to do it throughout the whole day. Even if 4 o'clock you wake up, the mind is like you are in a tip-top condition already. Because the equanimity is there, and you can able to maintain that thing, whether it's walking, sitting, eating, whatever, the mind can be totally alert. It doesn't need like, for example, oh, I must have good walking first, then only the good sitting. No, you just sit down, the whole thing is just as clear as whether you walk or you don't walk. So powerful is the mind, and yet it's still able to notice whatever that's going on there, inside this body and this mind. So it can go so powerful, so deep. And during this time, this is where the non-self becomes more prominent during this time. It's all able to notice this arising and passing away again and again. However that your body is going to move, the mind knows first. For example, you take this lifting, pushing, dropping, walking. Even now, for example, some of you may notice the intention of lifting. Then you notice the lifting. Intention to push, maybe you notice the push. Or sometimes you may notice intention to drop, you drop. You notice this thing. Very good, if you could do that. But sometimes in the level of when you have that equanimity of formation, you can able to see the intention also. But the intention also have more detailed information about what is going to happen next. Like for example, let's say you lift up and your leg is going to swing a little bit. Let's say it goes up, it's going to swing a bit. The mind know first that the leg is going to swing before that swinging take place. You know what I mean? You let's say you see this rising and falling, for example. And sometimes you see this rising, falling go to the side, right? You go this way or that way. You think it just happened in that way? No. The mind, during that time, you also may able to see that this thing, this body, this process is going to go in that pattern. Before that process happening, the mind know first. Actually, the mind is the one who dictates everything. It wants it to go that way, it wants it to go that way. Not you want it to go that way. So during this time, everything that you notice is, there's no I at all. There's no I is involved. Everything is just formation, condition coming in, arising, this thing happen in this way. So there's completely no I at this moment of time. Everything you just noticing as processes. You notice it as conditioning. You notice it as everything is so without that I that's doing everything at all. So it can be quite strange for a lot of people to hear it. It feels so uh, out of the world, but actually it's not. It's already happening here. And non-self is one of the most difficult subject to talk about in Buddhism. Sometimes you want to talk, you tell people, go to a public talk, let's say, Oh, Bhante, can you deliver the talk on non-self? Let's say, it's so difficult to give you, even to give you as simple as, to give you the simple as it is. When you listen to the talk, you listen to it from the perspective of a self, because you are not free from it yet. As if like, I says that, hey, the board over there is brown in color, but you don't see it as brown color because there's always a layer of like a speck red in color, and it's in front of you all the time. So no matter how I tell you that this is brown color, but you don't see it, you see, yeah, it's still red. Yeah, you think it's brown, but you still see it as red because you're not able to remove that. So to the self also the same thing. When we talk about non-self, which is the most difficult part, one of the most difficult subject, is that when you tell, no matter how you tell, you can think about it. You can think, but you think it from the perspective of self, from the idea of a self. So this non-self is best to experience it. You don't have to be so deep until you experience non-self. Actually, even when you begin, there's sometimes you also experience non-self here and there, but it does not come out. For example, when you pay attention, you walk, and then you begin to notice that, hey, the mind as if like it's a bit far from the walking, as if like you are third party watching the walking like that, or sometimes as if somebody outside there watching the rising and falling. That also is a kind of like a non-self. It's a kind of a perspective of non-self. But you find it as quite strange. But yes, it's a one facet of non-self. Or in another situation, you notice like lifting, pushing, dropping. You notice exactly the intention arises, intention to move, and it moves. There's no intention, it stops. Intention again, it moves. Or the mind arises, it moves. So when you see in that way also, for that short period of time, you also experiencing non-self also. It's a perspective of non-self in a more lower level. And it's good. Even though you don't realize it, you don't understood it in terms of theory, but actually you already experience it one way or another. Or sometimes you notice this rising and falling as if like you cannot control it. Oh, how come you can move this way, that way? How come 3 times only I can notice, then it move to another way, this one, the other way? I cannot control it at all. Also, again, you are noticing in the sense of non-self. Although right now you are noticing the object very clearly. Usually I don't tell you in the retreat, I don't tell you in the interview, oh, non-self, oh, impermanence, oh, dukkha. Dukkha is easy. Because it's always pain here and there. And that one is a bit easier. Whereas when it comes to non-self, you don't feel like, well, you don't feel anything significant. Yeah. But it will grow. It's, as you meditate, this phenomena will grow. So, as I said, in many ways, you're noticing the change or whatever that is happening, the mind know first. The mind will dictate how it's going to change also. And also during this time, as the equanimity is so powerful, the things that you like, for example, has been bugging you for your whole life. For example, a certain memory or certain people that it give you all kinds of problem or give you all kinds of happiness or all kinds of real suffering in life. Here you meditate, and at that level, this type of memory arises or this type of person arises. This time the mind is not even go into anger or desire at all. It's just take it as it doesn't affect, as if like you train the dog until the dog, you say sit, sit, move, it move. Now your thoughts are like a wild dog. You tell it to sit, it can bite you. You won't able to control it. But this time, until the thoughts has no power towards the mind or any of the memories or anything that is used to give you suffering, it doesn't affect you at all. You don't forget. All this memory and everything you don't forget. It's just that this time is no more anger towards it. The mind is so stable. You just look at it and it's just passed through. Things that they give you grief or sorrow, or you remember the parents that passed away and so on, the attachment there. Used to have sometimes yogis, they notice them and then all the tears start streaming down. But this time, you don't forget also. In fact, that the object also, the concept also can be clear, but the mind is not affected at all. It's just another passing through, and then the mind is so still, aware, fully alert, fully aware. Any pain, any strong pain, or any type of dukkha that earlier that I talked about, it comes in with, let's say it comes in with tremendous excruciating pain, together with that truly unpleasantness that you used to notice. This time, the mind is totally on top of them, and it does not flinch at all. No matter how difficult the pain, how you can sit there for the whole hour with all kinds of pain, the mind is not affected at all. That shows how strong the equanimity is, how balanced the whole state of mind. So it can come to that level, and you all have the potential for it already. It's just that it needs more practice. Now you come to that level, which is now here it becomes very powerful level. The mind is in a state of equanimity. Here is where you begin to knock on the door of Nibbana. And this time, if the mind is matured enough, powerful enough, as it develops further, then a mental process, a mental formation of consciousness, a few consciousness here and there, when it's ready, this type of consciousness will appear, will arise due to condition, due to all the development that you have gained. And to make it short, don't go into too much of these technical terms. When it comes to the end of that consciousness, this is where the two consciousness become very important. That's what you chant, Idang me silang maga pala nyanasa pacayo hotu. The maga and pala consciousness, or the maga and the knowledge of maga and pala, but which is actually is a consciousness. This two consciousness becomes the important part of it. And this is where the path consciousness. The path consciousness here is the one that is going to eradicate certain defilements. All your defilements, you see, we cannot just, I don't want anger. I want to uproot anger. Anger is still in the latent form. Don't want desire, don't want craving. The craving is still in the latent form. Right now, for example, are you angry? you are not angry. But tomorrow, something happened to you, you get angry. That means right now, the anger is in the latent form. That means when the condition is there, it spring up. But then when the path consciousness, what it does is that it eradicates, it uproots the latent defilement. Its job is to uproot there so that it does not spring up anymore in the future or anywhere in your samsara in the future birth and rebirth if there is some more. It doesn't spring up from it. And the first thing to go, the first defilement to go is that wrong view. Wrong view is the first thing to go, which is usually we call it as a personality view of this mind and body, that we believe that there must be something permanent inside there must be something eternally blissful, or there's a self inside there. A wrong view towards that is being removed, uprooted. So wrong view is not just only a thinking, it's actually something latent in us also. If you're not careful, condition is there, it can spring up. Just like I said in the meditation, if the person is not guided and they see any kind of like pleasant or lights, they believe that this is something Nibbana or something. But this is not yet. So because again here, there's no eradication yet. So the eradication happens at this path consciousness. So together with the path consciousness and friction consciousness, these two consciousness, then one experienced Nibbana. One realized Nibbana. And what is this Nibbana then? What is this Nibbana then? Nibbana is none other than the whole arising and passing away stop. The whole arising and passing away stop. It stopped. And it's truly stopped because inside there is free from the 5 aggregates. While we are here, every lifetime that we go through, there's always some aggregates, mental aggregates or physical aggregates or both together. Here, in Nibbana, or when we realize Nibbana, everything stops. Aggregates, these 5 aggregates have arising and passing away because they are universal characteristic. Everything goes with this arising and passing away. Only inside Nibbana, everything stops. That means samsara comes to an end. Isn't it? Then samsara comes to an end. If there's no stopping, samsara will keep on going. So together with that eradication of defilements, removing that wrong view of Sakaya Ditti and wrong view about also other rituals, other rituals or other rites or rituals that you do, you're going to get enlightenment. Sometimes these wrong things are rituals, like there's quite a lot out there. There are monks who says that, okay, you listen to my chanting. If you finish listening to my chanting, you are enlightened. And people believe, devotees believe. I give you a special chanting, only for you. Only for you. You listen to it, enlightened. So after you go out, you also feel good, It's walking also different, like walking on air. Sotapana already. Enlightened already. Yeah, people like that. Rites and rituals. And a lot of rite and rituals is there. Sometimes, you must sit in front of a Buddha, this special Buddha. The Buddha will give you the power. Give you the power, then you can be completely enlightened. No need to put in all the effort. Nothing. These are happening in the world of Buddhism. So easy, as I said, so easy to sometimes a lot of people are ignorant, not much of a understanding of teachings of the Buddha, and anything nice and pleasant to hear, they'll take it. If it's enlightenment, they'll grab it. Yeah. So you remove that rites and rituals also. And the other one also you remove is the skeptical doubt. Skeptical doubt about the practice itself, for example. I practice this rising, falling, lifting, pushing, dropping. Is it really beneficial? Will it able to reach until enlightenment? Can or not? Then you think and think and think, and then a lot of doubt arises. So you doubt also with all kinds of the teachings of the Buddha, whether the teachings is effective or not effective, wholesome, good or not, or so on. All this type of doubt gone because it's able to experience Nibbana, the ultimate goal. And here, the doubt is gone. It's just like you stay in Houston, you've been to Houston, and somebody from the other side of the world says there's no such thing as Houston. Then you know that this person is some crazy fella. So too, the doubt is, when you experience it, the doubt is totally eradicated. Now, with that eradication, it doesn't eradicate all defilements yet, You only eradicate certain defilements on it. And with that certain defilement eradicate, there'll be still a few more rebirth to go. Even if the yogi is totally lazy and don't want to meditate anymore, let's say, so happy, don't want to meditate anymore. Let's say he doesn't meditate anymore. At most, the Buddha says 7 more lifetime, 7 more rebirth, until it comes to the complete ending of everything. That means the completely this one, because there are still defilements there, and this defilement is there, is still able to give rebirth, but it's limited already. For y'all, it's limitless, unlimited. Yeah, we haven't come to a level that it's limit. So what do y'all need to do? Yeah. Walk, sit, rising, falling, sitting, touching. And that's the whole thing, finally. No miracle, no special miracle, no nothing. It's just about your own effort on it until the enlightenment is noticed. Even after enlightenment, you think just shake legs. You think it's happy and go on. No. Even after experiencing Nibbana, the yogi, I summarize it, you still have to come back to walking, sitting again, and to re-experience all these phenomena of arising and passing away, sitting again, because that level is going to give you even more deeper sense of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And the more that you think you just see one, you go through a lot even before enlightenment. But after enlightenment, there's so much more, at least on the first stage, there's so much more for you to see. So there's the whole truth is inside here. There's so much more for us to discover. For some of you, this may be just, this is the beginning of you rolling yourself onto the path so that it goes towards enlightenment and goes towards the ending of this cycle of birth and rebirth. Can? Okay, we stop here for tonight. We'll continue something